The solitude of genius. Why intellectuals shun social life. In a world where everyday conversations revolve around trivialities and small talk, many of history's greatest minds have chosen solitude over social life. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most provocative and pessimistic philosophers of the 19th century, argued that deep intellectual thought requires distance from a society mired in superficiality. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Arthur Schopenhauer. This raises an age-old question. Is isolation a curse, a prison of loneliness, or is it a hidden privilege, reserved only for the intellectually superior? History suggests that many brilliant minds, from Nikola Tesla to Emily Dickinson, embraced seclusion as a means to cultivate their ideas. But this path comes with a cost, one that Schopenhauer believed was not just inevitable, but essential. The nature of intellectual solitude. One deep thought versus superficiality. Schopenhauer viewed society as a place where individuals are preoccupied with petty distractions, gossip, and fleeting desires. For those with profound intellectual depth, such as Isaac Newton, Elon Musk, or J.D. Salinger, the everyday social arena is draining, filled with conversations that hold little value. The sharper the mind, the harder it becomes to find people who share an equal intensity of thought. As a result, intellectuals often find themselves withdrawing, not out of arrogance, but out of necessity. Tesla once confessed to abandoning relationships entirely in favor of his work, while Dickinson famously secluded herself in her home, choosing poetry over public life. 2. The unavoidable cost of brilliance. Schopenhauer argued that intellectual superiority inevitably leads to isolation. Genius, by its very nature, creates a disconnect from the majority. It is not merely a choice, but a byproduct of thinking differently. Solitude provides a sanctuary, a place for unfiltered creativity and the pursuit of uncompromised truth. However, it also carries a heavy emotional toll. Many great thinkers have struggled with alienation, melancholy, and even madness. Newton became notoriously reclusive later in life. Salinger, despite writing one of the most influential novels of all time, completely withdrew from public life. Yet Schopenhauer insisted that this detachment is necessary, a price worth paying to preserve the freedom to think authentically and deeply. Social life, a stage for pretense. 1. The masks of social interaction. In everyday social settings, people wear carefully constructed personas, adhering to unwritten rules of etiquette and groupthink. Schopenhauer saw this as an artificial performance, where individuals seek validation rather than truth. Brilliant minds, however, crave substance over style. They see through the shallow nature of small talk and struggle to engage in conversations that lack depth. As a result, they often observe rather than participate, feeling more like outsiders than active members of social circles. 2. Selective engagement for the intellectual. Despite his belief in solitude, Schopenhauer did not advocate for complete isolation. Instead, he suggested that selective engagement is key. Intellectuals must filter out the noise of the crowd and interact only when meaningful discourse is possible. This approach allows for a balance, avoiding the triviality of social life while maintaining some level of human connection. Many modern intellectuals and creators adopt this philosophy, engaging selectively with the world while fiercely guarding their personal space. The Paradox of Solitude. 1. Solitude, as both sanctuary and burden. For intellectuals, solitude is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it is the fertile ground where great ideas are born, free from distractions. On the other, it can be isolating, even suffocating. Schopenhauer saw this loneliness not as a failure, but as an inevitable condition of genius. Some of history's most creative figures, like Franz Kafka and Virginia Woolf, struggled with depression due to their self-imposed solitude. Yet, their isolation also allowed them to produce works that continue to shape the world today. 2. Freedom through detachment. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. Schopenhauer. To Schopenhauer, solitude is not just an escape. It is a form of liberation. A person is truly free only when they are detached from the expectations of others. Modern society thrives on external validation, likes, follows, and superficial approval. But the truly brilliant reject this in favor of intellectual independence. While they may appear indifferent to social life, they are, in reality, protecting the integrity of their thought. Schopenhauer's philosophy challenges us to reconsider our views on solitude and intellect. Should we see isolation as a curse, or is it the price of true freedom? Many brilliant individuals have sacrificed social acceptance to pursue their craft. Their choice often leads to loneliness, but it also grants them the ability to see the world without distortion. In a society obsessed with small talk, status, and conformity, stepping away may seem foolish. But perhaps, as Schopenhauer suggests, this detachment is not a loss, but a privilege. In the end, those who choose solitude are not rejecting the world, they are merely choosing to see it more clearly. So, is solitude a burden or the key to brilliance? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more deep insights. Sometimes, the loudest minds exist in the quietest places.